it's time to defend our garden because a huge wave of zombies is approaching. So get ready, the time has come to soil some epic sculptures. Take a weapon or rather a few pieces because the most terrifying war in history continues. That's why today, with the help of our great sculptor Nessa, we'll be creating a powerful army prepared to fight against evil zombies. These brain eaters are invading our home and we can let it happen. So for this we also need our best storyteller. So go ahead, Winnie.
Hi everyone, I'm Winnie, the yellow cat. But did you hear that? That's right, a huge wave is coming. So we're gonna put a frying pan on our heads to protect ourselves, since in this universe zombies only want to eat our delicious brains. But don't worry, dear viewers, I'm not a zombie.
I hope not, Winnie, but we must pay attention to Crazy Dave. If we want to survive in this charming universe, we won't use any common weapons, because plants are much more powerful than those, and the only thing we're gonna need. So let's start with the most reliable plant of all, Peashooter.
But let's go little by little, since in this world one of our principal plants will be the friendly Peashooter. It will be the first source of firepower in our arsenal, a plant with a greenish tone, a round head and a big mouth that looks like a canyon, from which powerful peas are shot. That's the reason of its name, Peashooter.
That's right, Winnie, because this plant is one of the most iconic in the entire franchise, coming to have different versions of itself in all the PvZ games, although during these videos we'll only focus on the Peashooters from the first and second installments. So we should know that this plant only costs 100 sun, a very affordable price for the great defense he creates against the evil zombies at the beginning of each game.
However, one of its most characteristic abilities is in PvZ2, with some food plant that causes an uncontrolled attack against those brain eaters, throwing a great burst of peas, and then zombies will be doubly dead. And as an Easter egg, when you use some of this food, the appearance of the plant will change for a moment to the Gatling Pea variant, the seed buff in the original PvZ. That's awesome! However, knowing its realistic version, this plant will become more greenish and full of roots. It also have a pair of big black eyes with which it can see in the dark due to its incredible night vision, throwing its peas and taking down the strongest enemies. Those zombies won't even know what hit them. The turn of one of my favorite plants, and it can be anything more and nothing less than the wonderful sunflower.
That's right, Winnie, you have a point there, since without sun none of these plants could exist. So sunflower is one of the coolest solar plants. She's responsible for producing pieces of sun every 24 seconds. And the more sunflowers we have, the more sun energy we'll get. She definitely plays a crucial part of our defenses.
Oh, that forgot something important, Plasty. It is also yellow, just like me. However, that's not all, because now this smiling friend has a more efficient power generation, and if the sunflower receives some plant food, it can rapidly heal from any injury and give us a small extra portion of sun.
And speaking of fun facts, this plant along with Peashooter will always be one of the most popular plants in all PVZ. They're always helping us when we start a game tutorial. Also, we couldn't forget that Sunflower became quite a celebrity around 2009 with her song, "There's a Zombie on Your Lawn."
Wow, Plasty, this song is really iconic. It is impossible not to remember. I just love it. And now its appearance is very colorful, as it has a very strong stem that supports its sunflower head, where it has many yellows and orange petals. Something very artistic, no doubt.
Also, in her realistic version, she has two arms that are very useful to help her friends, since now she can move at will and with the ability to defend herself. This plant became much more powerful. And now that we have all the solar power, we need to soil more plants to protect our home from the huge wave of zombies. Plants definitely know how to have fun while fighting, and now we'll start creating Bulb, a unique and incredible plant that will defeat the zombies in the most sporting way possible.
But before continuing, remember to leave your epic and feeling like if you are enjoying this video. Also, subscribe to the channel. That's how you can help us in our battle against zombies.
Plants have been fighting zombies for many decades, and these brain eaters become more and more powerful, adapting to their attack. That's why plants had to evolve, so in our journey we'll discover the bowling bulb, being the third plant we obtained in Big Wave Beach in PVZ2. This iconic plant costs 200 sun, and maybe he's expensive, but his attack against zombies is quite powerful.
That's right, Plasty, as the three balls will take turns throwing themselves directly at the zombies, and when they hit one, they'll change lanes to continue doing damage. This is a little Easter egg that reminds us of the walnut bowling in PVZ1. Yes, good strike! And also, as a curious fact, bulbs are underground stems where buds form. That's why in PVZ, bowling bulbs can be supercharged and armed with 3 explosive plasma bulbs, destroying everything in their way. This happens when you give them plant food. It's really amazing. And once it's turned into a realistic version, its eyes are quite deep, and the little heads of this plant look scarier.
We should also mention that his 3 balls heads have a different attack power, with the orange one being the most powerful of those. Also, this plant will be able to easily regenerate his heads after killing a zombie target, growing again thanks to the help of solar energy.
These plants never cease to amaze me, and the fall Halloween is one of the funniest. That's right, we're talking about Chili Bean, a very amusing plant because when a zombie eats it, he'll be stunned, unleashing a trail of fairy gas behind him. But before we continue, remember to leave us a comment saying which one is your favorite plant and zombie.
And speaking of this little bean, it's important to mention that he comes from a large family because throughout the Plants vs. Zombies franchise there are different types of beans, like the powerful laser bean capable of shooting a great beam, or the solar beam who helps us get more solar power. Right now we're creating Chili Bean. This simple and charismatic plant has a powerful interior that will kill any zombie that devours him.
This little bean has a cost of 50 sun and we found it for the first time in the Wild West on PBZ too, and it's both cheap and little because it'll make any zombie die instantly, but our little friend will have to disappear too. It's a price to pay for its great help. But that's not all, because if we give some plant food to the bean, it'll multiply in up to 3 random cells, so its stinking power will reach more zombies.
And now Chili Bean has joined our army. As a curious fact, this friend is really explosive because in PvZ warfare he can turn into a bomb that will immediately kill any zombie when detonated. His realistic appearance doesn't vary much, although we can notice his characteristic texture as well as a very tender smile that seems to say, "Hey guys, I want to help." But this creature will be leaving very soon as a powerful zombie is approaching, which not even his stinking explosion could defeat.
Brains.
Oh no, here it comes and he's running very fast. Aren't zombies supposed to be slow? Prepare the plants, the battle is coming.
That's right, it's time to create the zombie football player, better known as Zombie All-Stars. This is one of the most dangerous zombies due to his high resistance to attacks and great speed, in addition to making an unstoppable charge when he reaches the field, being able to knock down and devour the most powerful plants in seconds.
It is said that this zombie had generated the evolution of his army because in the past they didn't know how to defend themselves, and by understanding how plants' weapons work, they began to equip themselves with armor that makes them very resistant. This is how our first encounter with this zombie takes place in modern times on the 21st in PBZ2, and for sure we were all surprised to see his great speed and power to attack a very fearsome enemy.
But that's not all. In addition to his normal appearance, he has different versions of himself throughout the whole franchise. For example, in Garden Warfare, he has a version of a cricket star, a baseball star, or even a wrestling star, each one of them with different skills and items. It is also possible to find him in PvZ1 during the campaign or mini-games such as Space Breaker, where if you are unlucky, he'll appear and run through your garden, tackling and devouring everything on his way. That's horrible!
Oh, I know a fun fact about him. Well, in PvZ1 And if we play online, we have the opportunity to see the Giga All-Star Football Zombie with a similar appearance to the All-Star, but having some changes on clothing, facial paint, and sport equipment, being more powerful and resistant. That's really scary. Now in his realistic version, his appearance is much more terrifying since he has bulging eyes which are scary just to look at. Also, his clothes and helmet have many incredible and realistic details. But let him come, we are ready with our best plans. Fire! It seems we have survived this huge wave, but more zombies are approaching, so don't forget like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video. Also share it with your friends so the fun never ends.
And if you enjoy the realistic version of these plans, I recommend you a couple of similar videos right here. But after all, continue creating your new ability.